Hello, Digital Marketing 3 students, both part-time and full-time. So welcome to lesson 44 of Digital Marketing 3. We have just discussed the SOSTAC planning framework for digital marketing strategy development in lesson 43. So now we are going to unpack one of the components of that SOSTAC, the S, which looks at situation analysis. Situation analysis, where we do a lot of reading in the environment. So that's what you are going to be talking about in this session of lesson 44. So at the end of this lesson, you must be able to explain the different focus areas of the situation analysis. You need to be able to understand competitor analysis, and you also need to be able to know how to conduct a SWOT analysis for a digital marketing organization. So situation analysis is the same thing that we looked about in a couple of weeks ago, where we did macro analysis. Macro analysis, we're looking at the wider environment, and we used PESTED acronym to unpack that macro analysis. We also did micro analysis as part of the situation analysis, where we looked at the customers, we looked at the intermediaries, we looked at the suppliers, we looked at the competitors. But with this situation analysis for digital market strategy planning, it focuses on quite a number of issues. So there are areas that you need to focus on when it comes to this situation analysis. It goes beyond macro and micro analysis that we discussed earlier. So you look at the internal capabilities, such as the resources, the available skills, and so forth. But I'm going to take you through that areas of situation analysis. So the first one, you look at the internal audit for digital marketing. An internal audit involves reviewing the current contribution of the digital marketing activities within the organization. So there are so many levels that you need to consider here. You ask yourself, what digital assets do we have as a brand? If we are Pick and Pay, or if we are News24, whatever the industry, you need to ask yourself, what are the digital assets that we have? Do we have a proper website that would lead to business effectiveness, marketing effectiveness, and digital marketing effectiveness? So that website must be able to achieve or to highlight some areas of these three aspects: business effectiveness, marketing effectiveness, and digital marketing effectiveness. If you have got a social media account, be it a Facebook page, be it a Twitter handle, be it a mobile application as Pick and Pay or as News24, you need to ask yourself about the effectiveness of that social media account. Is it achieving the goals of business effectiveness? Is it achieving the goals of marketing effectiveness? And is it achieving the goals of digital marketing effectiveness? So that's where you start your audit. And remember, situation analysis is just an assessment. You are auditing here, you are reviewing things, you want to see what is it that is working and what is it that is not working. So you come up with a benchmark against those three things that I've mentioned: business effectiveness, marketing effectiveness, and digital marketing effectiveness. So everything that we have now, are they achieving those three aspects? Because sometimes you realize that brands are everywhere. They've got many social media accounts. They've got a website, but is it fulfilling its business? Is it fulfilling its marketing strategy? Is it fulfilling its digital marketing strategy? That's something else. You realize that you've got a Pick and Pay Facebook page, or you've got a News24 Facebook page that is actually turned into an entertainment site. Like, it's not even selling the products that Pick n Pay is selling, or is not even sharing the news that News 24 should be sharing. So it becomes a situation analysis. You do a SWOT analysis on that. You look at the strength, you look at the weaknesses, you look at the opportunities as well as the threats. Then there's something that is always vital in this marketing course. What is always vital is that you need to know about your customers, consumer behavior, which is very crucial because the revenue and the existence of any brand is related, is linked to the insights that you have about your customer. So you need to have more research about your customers. Research into customers should not be restricted to quantitative demand analysis. So it must not be based on statistics only. It must not be based on numbers only. It also have to be qualitative. Qualitative means it needs to provide deeper meaning. It needs to ask the why of things that consumers are doing, be it their purchasing pattern behavior, be it how they use products and so on. So you cannot just come up with a quantitative analysis that say 50 people based in Sentin are using Kemfa. You must also look at the qualitative analysis, why they're using Kemfa, how long has they been using Kemfa, and how is Kemfa reacting to their skin. So you must be able to understand the why, and why becomes a qualitative analysis as it looks for the meanings behind what is happening. So customer research is very important. Qualitative research about existing customers provides insights that can be used to inform strategy. See Digital Marketing Insights on 4.3 on page 151 about consumer profiles and digital targeting options. I hope this is sinking, guys. I hope you can understand these things. Otherwise, if there are any questions, if you do not understand, please let me know. Please communicate with us in the groups where we can discuss these queries further as a collective. So customer research mode of how character variable interact. So these are the things that they are typical. They are not one size fits all. So they cannot be applied uniquely to individuals, but they provide a framework to understand an individual customer. So you need to look at the attitudes, the customer attitudes towards perceived outcomes of online. So what is it that people actually feel about online shopping? So this will be the influence, because their attitude will actually highlight their intentions to shop online. So it will influence them. If they are skeptical, if their attitude is negative, then it means that there won't be notable intentions there. Then, after they've been influenced to shop online, you then need to ask about the experience that they have shopping online. How was the actual online shopping journey? So that's where feedback comes in, and you find character variables there of innovative, computer literate individual who is confident and enjoys shopping online and offline. Then you look at the form, and that form is going to cement the beliefs about the internet. Then it becomes a cycle of attitude, especially for those who are used to online shoppings, the digital natives. Those who have got the good character variables for online shopping. Remember, guys, at the beginning of the lesson, at the beginning of the, I taught you about digital natives, digital immigrants, and digital refugees. Resource analysis. Resource analysis involves assessing the capabilities of the organizations to deliver its digital services. So we spoke about the assets that the company needs to audit. at the beginning of this lesson. We spoke about auditing the assets that enable the company to be online, such as Facebook or social media accounts, its website, its mobile application, and so on. Then we spoke about the customer insights, having customer research, and you must not only depend on quantitative demand analysis, you also need to have a look at qualitative demand analysis. And I gave you an impression of the cycle of how you can get insights from an individual consumer. Now we look at the resources, your capabilities. Do you have enough to sustain the objectives that you need to have? For example, if you want to have a family, you ask yourself, do I have the enough resources to be able to reach that goal? So you need to think about the capabilities, especially when it comes to to offline, to online shopping, logistics, packaging, all those things. Ask yourself, who is going to do that? So it's part of the resources. So resource analysis should include financial resources, and financial resources always look at how you afford the things and what are the tools that you are going to use. Then you also need to think about the technology infrastructure. What payment gateways, what tools are you going to use to enable a fluent, effective customer journey? So you need to think about the technology infrastructure resources. What innovations are you going to use to support online payments, for example? Do you have enough technology infrastructure to support online payments, to accommodate credit cards, to accommodate PayPal, to accommodate instant EFT? So those will be part of the plug-ins that are needed for smooth digital service. Then you also need resources for data and insight. You know, which tools are you going to use to monitor the performance of your strategy? How are you going to get those indicators? How are you going to have the metrics? What analytical tool or analytics tool are you going to use to get data and the insights for your organization? So you realize that some of the tools are paid for and some of them are free. Some are trial-based, 30-day trial, 60-day trial. So you need to think about that. Then you also you need to think about the number of people that you are going to have. As I've told you guys, some digital marketing departments, they have a full house digital marketing department where you've got the digital marketing director, you've got digital marketing managers, you've got strategists, like they have got so much resources within that field. Then in other organizations, you realize that there's what they call a digital marketing manager, and on everything she or he is on her own. So there will be some cases whereby you have to outsource your human resources. You need to look for experts in the field. You need to look for those who are doing things better, and how much you're going to pay those people, because of course they're not going to come to be on board for free. You then need to look at the strengths and weaknesses of your resources. So this forms resource analysis as part of your situation analysis. I hope it is sinking through, and I hope you are understanding all these things that I mentioned. Then we have got competitor analysis. I'm not going to talk much about this because we did competitor analysis before. We looked at the 5 task forces, for example, that define the rule of competition. We also spoke about competitive advantage. But now what you need to know that the monitoring of competitors' use of digital marketing and e-commerce to acquire and retain customers is especially important in the dynamic online marketplace. So you won't be sort of snooping, but you need to know how your competitor is doing it. If they are doing it better, how can you be more better than them? If they are lacking here and there, how can you capitalize on that? So this enables new services to be launched, media investments changed, and prices and promotion changed much more rapidly than through print communications. So that's all about competitor analysis. But I I'd like to suggest that you guys rewind a bit and go and have a look at one of the aspects, at some of the aspects that we discussed under competitor analysis. Then we have got intermediary analysis, where we look at some of the channels that you can use to distribute the product. So that's what we'll be looking at when it comes to intermediary analysis. You look at the form of distribution, you look at aggregation sites, sites like Hippo, if you're an insurance company, you know hippo.com, where you've got many companies such as King Price, iWise, Dow Direct, Face for Women. So Hippo is a sort of an intermediary. You look at price check and stuff like that. So situation analysis will also involve identifying relevant intermediaries for a particular marketplace and looking at how the organization and its competitors are using the intermediaries to build traffic and provide services. So we have this diagram in the textbook where you look at the strengths. So the strengths will be the existing brand, the existing customer base, and the existing distribution. So these are things that you've already established as a customer. These are the people, these are the resources that you already have in your database. You don't have to struggle to come up with new database for your customers. So it's part of your market penetration because the market is already there. Then look at weaknesses. Weaknesses, you focus on the brand perception. So how is your brand perceived in the market? You also focus on the intermediary use, as well as the technology or the skills and other cross-channel support. So realize that it becomes a weakness, especially if most of the competitors in the industry can do it better than you. Like they've got so much touch points throughout the customer journey. So if it's a weakness, then you need to know how to turn that weakness into an opportunity or into a strength. Then you need to come up with opportunities such as cross-selling, new markets, new services, alliances, partnerships, or co-branding. I think in the industry right now, so many companies are doing that. You look at Pick and Pay clothing. It is an offline store that you find it more at most of the South African malls, but it has partnered with Zando, which is an online shop, so that it capitalizes on traffic. It also capitalizes on sales. So it's an opportunity that Pick and Pay clothing is actually considered to partner with a local online brand such as Zando to deliver to sell its clothes online that you find at the shopping malls for Pick and Pay clothing. Then you've got SO strategies that leverage the strengths to maximize opportunities. So this is also called an attacking strategy. And on the other hand, you've got the WO strategies, so the weakness opportunity strategies. So these ones would counter weaknesses through exploiting opportunities. So it's also called build strengths for attacking strategy. Then we've got threats. So threats, they come from everywhere other than technology. Customer choices, dynamic customer choices, changing choices can also become a threat. So if you have been used to be selling traditional products, you need to be able to take note of the existing customer choice. Think about Coca-Cola, how it has adapted to the continuing growing trends in dietary food, customers being aware of the foods that they eat. They want to eat healthy stuff. They want to reduce the sugar in their bodies and so on. So it becomes a customer choice that is increasing, and brands must be able to adapt to those growing customer choices. That's why I would see Coca-Cola having less sugar, or Coke Zero, and so on. You also need to think about the new entrants. This is happening especially in the smartphones industry, as well as in the automobile industry, whereby traditional brands, those that have been there for quite a while now, they can actually feel the heat from new entrants. When there was BlackBerry or when there was Nokia, then all of a sudden Huawei is in the market. We could see the impact that Huawei bought there, and some of the smartphone manufacturing brands like BlackBerry, they actually ended up liquidating and no longer being able to operate in the business out of because of a lot of factors that you can consider, and one of the factors is new entrants. But you can always talk about a lot of factors such as the pace of new innovation, such as the regulations and so on. Then you also need to consider competitive products as part of threats, as well as channel conflicts. So then on the right column, you are going to have the strengths threats strategies, where you leverage the strengths to minimize threats. It's called a defensive strategy. Then you can also have a WT strategy, which is weakness threats strategy. And this one will be to counter the weaknesses and threats. So it's called a build strengths for defensive strategy. So this is how you assess the opportunities and the threats of any given brand, be it in the agriculture sector, be it in the automobile sector, in whatever sector that we might consider, even if the education or the government sectors, you need to consider all of that. But this is a generic, it's not a one size fits all strategy, but it's something that you can always consider when coming up with a good strategy, or when planning, or when doing a situation analysis for a given brand. Let's move on to next. I just quickly need to plug on my device here. So just give me some 2 seconds. Okay. Okay, so assessing opportunities and threats as an example of a digital channel specific SWOT, showing how the elements of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats can be related to strategy formulation. Remember, I spoke about strategy formulation on lesson 49 to 54. So you've got the organization, and you've got the strengths, you've got the weaknesses. Then under the strengths and the opportunities, you can have strength opportunity strategies. And under the weaknesses and opportunities, you can have weaknesses and opportunity strategies. So these are counter weaknesses through exploiting opportunities, build strengths for attacking strategy. Then under threats, you can have the ST strategies. And under weaknesses and threats, you can have the WT strategies. If there are any questions, don't forget to discuss like we normally do in the WhatsApp groups. Then we can always take this further.